Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're back talking about the League of Legends professional offseason once again. The latest and greatest news, rumors, speculation, and all of that good stuff going on in the scene. Today, more specifically, we're talking about Crownshot and his future that is very up in the air at this point. As you can see on the screen, Crownshot tweeted out just about an hour ago. You know, we're pretty right on top of this story. As soon as this is breaking, we're trying to get all the new news and information out to you guys, because obviously there's still a few big 80 carries left in Europe that haven't signed yet, and where they go is going to be very interesting. So Crownshot tweeted out, it does seem that I will unfortunately not be playing in the LEC or LCS next split. I will keep you guys updated on what I plan to do in the future. I felt like I finally showed people this past year what I'm capable of, and I'm eager to prove myself again in the future. I'll be back. I'm really grateful for all the love and support during the split, and I hope you'll keep supporting me whatever I do. So this is crazy. People are going to have some huge reactions to this. People are going to be very upset by this, because Crownshot, obviously, we heard some rumors of him potentially going to G2. Obviously, Reckless is 80 carry there. We heard Crownshot potentially going to fnatic. Now, he's telling us that he's not going to fnatic, so now it's looking very likely like Upset is going to become the new fnatic 80 carry. I'm hearing that there is still a small outside shot that Deft comes over to fnatic, but that does seem very unlikely. It seems like Upset, that announcement could be coming very soon in the next couple of days, as these rosters begin to get finalized. But for whatever reason, it does seem like they've told Crownshot that he is no longer in consideration, or maybe even potentially they have a verbal agreement already for their 80 carry. So that's pretty interesting. Also, we heard some rumors about Crownshot maybe going to like Evil Geniuses, maybe going to Dignitas. There was a couple different teams that Crownshot could be rumored for in North America, but the only problem being with that is that Crownshot is obviously an import coming into North America, and 80 carry is just not a very good position for LCS and North American teams to be importing. Part of the problem being the fact that North American teams most often have to import mid. There's not very many North American talents in the mid lane for LCS. Most teams are going to be importing from mid already there. So then between the next four positions, you have one left, and then a lot of people just especially with how the meta is right now, 80 carry doesn't seem like that important of a position to be going for a huge import. But also, North America has pretty good depth in terms of 80 carry. You have a lot of solid resident options for 80 carry in North America. So when you're deciding between to import one guy or the other one, sometimes it depends what your other options for resident players are. And if you have a more solid 80 carry resident option, you do kind of get in a weird spot where even if you think Crownshot is good enough to start in the LCS or a good enough player, better than some of the other imports, sometimes his replacement is just a little bit better than a replacement you could get for another position. NA definitely has some positions they are pretty weak in, and 80 carry is one of the positions that are actually a little bit stronger in. So that was playing against Crownshot, obviously there. The other crazy part is that Crownshot was being considered for G2, one of the best teams in the world. G2 thought Crownshot was good enough to potentially start for them. They were in negotiations with him. Crownshot was in negotiations with fnatic, probably and possibly the second best team in Europe in the LEC. They thought that potentially he was at least maybe good enough to start for them. They were in negotiations with him. And Crownshot obviously didn't make it to G2, didn't make it to fnatic, but he was in consideration for them. And the fact that he is not on any other team in Europe is absolutely crazy to me. How is Crownshot potentially good enough to go to G2? How is he potentially good enough to go to fnatic, but he's not good enough to start on any of the other LEC teams? Obviously, G2 and fnatic think he's a top 2 or 3 80 carry if he was in consideration for their starting positions, and other teams are saying that Crownshot, you are not a top 10 80 carry. That is crazy to me. Obviously, some of this comes down to the fact that some teams already had 80 carries locked up long term. Some teams are taking a shot on new LEC rookies, like European rookies coming up. But some teams are just straight up starting a worse 80 carry than Crownshot in 2021. And obviously, that's crazy. I do get why it's hard to get him into the LCS. There are some teams in the LCS starting worse 80 carries in Crownshot as well, but I think it's more maddening, more upsetting, more frustrating, the European teams that are passing on Crownshot. I am pretty high on Crownshot. I think he's good. I think he's a nice like addition to a team. I think he's very skilled, but I also think he's good in terms of like branding and content. I think he can offer a lot of different things to a team, and it seems like he said, he was just kind of budding into his own, starting to really show us what he could become. So I think it's very disappointing that he's now finding himself out of the league. But Europe is very competitive. They have a ton of rookies up and coming always. Teams are always looking ahead towards the future. And somehow Crownshot just got lost in the mix of all this, which is really crazy. He has a ton of fans. They're going to be really upset. And now what's going to happen in the future? Is he going to go play in the European Regional League? He would absolutely smurf there. He definitely could, and I'm sure he'd be back to the LEC in no time. Some people are saying he could potentially even take a year off, maybe go back to school or go do something else for a little while. I don't know if streaming maybe is an option for him too to do full-time for a little while. But, yeah, I mean, it just really sucks for him. A guy who has that competitive spirit, a guy who wants to be competing, not being able to, even when he's probably good enough. That sucks. That really feels bad. And, yeah, life's unfair. Stuff always doesn't work out. But, man, you hate to see it happen, especially to a guy like Crownshot. But again, from this, we are getting a little bit more answers. We're getting closer to finding out who Fnatic's AD carry is. Again, it seems like it's between Upset and Deft at this point, with Deft being a very, 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 very outside chance. So we're getting closer and closer to that Fnatic Upset announcement. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the dominoes fall in place and who the final 10 AD carries are in the LEC and how Crownshot is not one of them. But it is crazy that we're finally getting this news from him. Obviously, this is his Twitter account. He's letting everyone know. Yeah, this has been crazy. It's crazy that nothing in NA worked out, nothing in EU worked out. He didn't make it on G2. He's not making it on Fnatic. He's not making it on any team. But yeah, we'll see what the future has to hold for him. It sucks. Obviously, it looked like coming into the last couple of years, future was very bright for him, and then all of a sudden you find yourself not even having a starting spot for 2021, which is pretty upsetting. But I know you guys are going to have a lot of interesting takes on this. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What team should Crownshot be on? What team is making the biggest mistake passing up on Crownshot? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, sub down on the latest content. Check me out over at twitch.tv/I_am_germ. We have a $25 RP giveaway going on right now. It's going to be the first link in the description below. Definitely check that out if you're interested. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.